Another aspect of this is YouTube starting censoring people, right? Left and right. And a lot of people complained. And I'm thinking, you can't complain. That's their platform. And they are free to do whatever they want to do. So, and if you're not okay with it, form your own platform and defy them. And see if this is the mentality I think we should have.
Agreed.
All of these people, actors, we hate the man, we don't want, great. And then build your own studio. I want to be part of his show. Well then, and then shut up. Once you're part of that show, you're bought. One has to figure out how to do it because it's hard. But yeah, it's true.
And your main foray, Guido, into that world, at least thinking, is presumably perishable currency. I mean, that's kind of the larger context in which to put that idea for some of our listeners.
Well, everything we discuss, everything we want to do, every change we want to implement is not going to happen on this stage because it's owned, as we just said. It will never happen. It's like we have this project and sometimes the question pops up, well, there are funds from the EU. It's like, here you are.
Right.
You always go to the master. Perishable money, it's the most radical, as we said, most radical economic revolutionary concept. It is that, of course, not by itself within a wider architecture of redesigning society. It is unthinkable that we could possibly do them in the system we are now. We live in a cage. We call it whatever you want, a cage, a cavern, a beehive, more an ant heap, and so on. And they will not let you do it here because it's against their interest to make that happen. So we have to think, the only thing we can do, people tell me, okay, well, as people who've read my book says, well, you criticize, but what are we going to do? What are you going to do concretely? There's thousands, a galaxy of dissidents, and everybody is great at making plans, but everybody is not willing to get his ass whipped in any form. Mm-hmm. So what then because they're scared? Well, we are scared, and well, okay, but there's no other way around it. We're going to have to think in this mentality that we're going to have to build our own theater and start the play. There's no other way. So we have to create a space. How to create the space remains to be seen. And we have to create lifelines to make that happen that are separated and separate from those of the system. And mostly, the ways in which they suck resources and lifeblood out of us is through taxation and the credit system. So that means that we're going to have to find ways of avoiding ways to be taxed. So there's already an element of rebellion there and of open criminal defiance of the system. I'm afraid to say, but that's how it is. And once you create this space, have possibility of creating your own bank. That too is an act of defiance. They're going to accuse you of forging the currency. It has already happened. They send the police, and the states are very strong, extremely strong. So it's an act of rebellion you're about to undertake. I see no other way. Surely not by internal campaigning or voting for independent candidates or. Well, we've gone through all that. America has a history of that. Every country has. Mm-hmm. So you were made to believe by your broker that you are the legal owner of whatever security, but you're not. You're only holding a piece of paper. It is actually they designed such that all these securities in fact belong in a pool within a clearing union that's under the control of the banking system. And in this way, they were able to redistribute and wealth in such a way and to pauperize America and restructure in such a way that the new asset configuration of America emerged. And then, of course, they were ready to relaunch credit and the war and so on and so forth. Webb argues that they are doing the same thing now. Whatever savings you may have invested, even by the most trustworthy of brokers, according to Webb, is going to go up in smoke. And that will be the opportunity to introduce this digital currency, the digital Franklin, which they've been talked about now for the past, since the 08 crisis. I think that there is something likely in this.